These are two countries with very different interests, very different values that are taking the measure of each other and figuring out how they're going to be in this competition for some time. They haven't seen each other in over 5 years. They've talked on video with each other, but these are not chums. They're not pals. They aren't able to look into each other's souls and really discern, all that they need to about them. I suppose that personal relationship at least gives them the ability to speak frankly with each other, but they're very unlikely to persuade the other side and make the other side back up very much.
I do think that you can put some guardrails on the U.S.-China relationship. The question is, are the Chinese going to be satisfied with that? The Americans are always the ones saying, we just want to prevent conflict. We're okay with competition. The Chinese have never bought into the idea of the U.S.-China relationship as being a competitive one. They want to get back to the way things were in the 2010s when the U.S. welcomed the rise of a peaceful and prosperous China, with the Chinese emphasis very much on the prosperous side, and we'll get to the peaceful later.
Welcome to Bali. Our one China policy has not changed. We oppose unilateral change in the status quo by either side.
These are things we've heard before. I don't think it's broken any new ground. And we'll see how China reacts to future engagement by the U.S. with Taiwan. Even if it's not at the level of a House Speaker's visit, I'm sure there will be additional arms sales coming up. I'm sure there will be additional efforts by the U.S. to engage Taiwan in international institutions.
Even though the Chinese are upset at this, I didn't get the impression from my trip and general observations that the Chinese have set a deadline, moved up a deadline, or more intent on using force in the short term. That they are probably actually more hesitant now, in part not just because of what the president has said, but because what we've seen in Ukraine. The Chinese don't want to fall into a quagmire the way the Russians have.
And what you've seen come out of this summit is now a set of, here are the issues that we're going to direct our staff to work on. We're going to set up talks on agriculture and food security and climate. And we're going to restart talks on global, macroeconomic issues. And we're going to send the Secretary of State to China. So I think there's some hopeful signs coming out of this meeting.